What's up, Patty people? And welcome back to a brand new episode of Pal Palace. I'm your host, as always, El Laracella, and this is our second ever filmed episode that I'm putting on YouTube. I don't know why I just paused there. I clearly know what I'm doing, but I'm still learning how all of this works and trying to make this look right. So I think my light is probably going to die soon. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm very sorry, but I don't think enough people even know to go and look on YouTube yet. So it's going to be our little secret. Anyway, hi, this is the first time as well that we're doing 2 weeks in between episodes. I don't know if I like it, to be honest with you. I feel like there were so many things that I wanted to talk about that are kind of irrelevant now, because I like to talk about things on the internet that are just kind of trendy or in the moment. And I'm kind of things kind of go fast, something's trending 1 minute and then the next minute there's something else that's taking up everybody's time. So I'm kind of thinking maybe we'll go back to weekly if I can handle it, but I don't know. Lots of exciting things are happening in my life right now, so I'll update you guys in due time about all of that. But for right now, hi, welcome back. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. Thank you guys as well for tuning into last week's episode, and to those of you who did take a look on the YouTube, I really appreciate that. And if you guys could like and subscribe as well, it would mean the absolute world to me. So, hi. My Patty Point this week, and if you're new here, I do a Patty Point segment, I guess, every single time we start an episode, or most of the time. I ask you guys to tell me something that's been bothering you, and it could literally be anything at all. So that's a Pouty Point. And I will start off. My Pouty Point this week is that shopping carts don't have brakes. And I posted this on my story, and a lot of you guys actually told me that you agree with me, and I'm glad, because I literally feel like I'm going crazy and I don't understand how this hasn't been invented yet. It seems so easy, and it seems like something that is just common sense that you would have, because I literally have to take my cart and block it from rolling away by stopping it with my car. So my car is getting dinged up because there's just no way to stop it. And if you're a mother, you put the baby in the car first. That's the first thing you do. So you bring your cart over full of groceries, diapers, paper towels, whatever, big bulky things. And you have to somehow wrangle the shopping cart, then take your kid out of the shopping cart, put him in the car seat, close the door, and then start unloading your stuff. But it's just I have 2 hands. How am I supposed to do all of this? But anyway, if anybody has any idea when this is going to be a new revolutionary improvement in shopping experiences, please let me know. Amazon, you need to get on this. I feel how Amazon has those weird grocery stores now? I don't go to them. It's the Amazon Fresh store, I think, but I've never stepped foot in one. It just feels too weird for me. I don't know. But I feel that would be the place that would have them. No? Anyway, some Pouty Points that you guys gave me this week. Let me pull it up on my new handy dandy iPad. This was a gift from my husband because he believes in me and he believes in the podcast. And I asked him if I could get a new one because my other one was just shattered to hell. And he said yes. So let's see. I'm going to go with one Pouty Point of yours this week. People being mean for no reason other than to be mean. If you don't have anything nice to say, then say nothing. And that's the golden rule, I feel there's a difference between being mean and being snarky, but people just say things sometimes to just get on people's nerves and to start arguments. I'm definitely guilty of doing this sometimes, but it usually comes from a place of insecurity. And I hope that people in your life are not being mean to you, because I will find them. I will ride at dawn for you. But yeah, that would definitely bother me for sure. Waiting too long for my food to come out at a restaurant. Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm going to say something. I always give the servers the benefit of the doubt. Unless they're clearly incompetent or they don't care about their job. And we'll get into that too. I have something to say about that. It's sometimes it's just not their, most of the time, it's not their fault. You know, they can't control the kitchen. It's the kitchen's fault. So a lot of times when people give attitude to a server because it's taking a long time, I kind of feel like that's not really right. And especially because they work for tips. So they're clearly trying their best and they want to get you that food out, unless you're being just an actual asshole. In which case, sorry. But actually, have you guys seen that trend? I don't know if it's a trend, but there's this thing that sometimes people do where they'll put money down on a table and the waitress will come over and start their order and everything. And then if the waitress or waiter forgets something, they take away a bill. So like they'll put like, I don't know, 10 ones on the table and they'll take one away anytime like the server does something wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that was a trend years ago and I have never been able to forget it. It makes me really sad. All right, so I asked you guys this week and last week. Oh, I'm so sorry. Before we move on to that, I want to just talk about something that I talked about last week on my Instagram stories, but another pouty point, I guess, of mine this week is how bad interactions with servers or somebody in the service industry in the mornings can like really ruin your day. So like I go to this Dunkin' every single morning where I live. And I usually, oh, there goes my light. If anybody's watching on YouTube, I just went dark. Not actually dark, but anyway, there's this girl who works at this Dunkin' in the drive-thru, right? So I start my mornings out by going to the Dunkin', getting a coffee, and driving to the gym or driving my son wherever he needs to go, library, story time, whatever. And it's like the first interaction that I have every single day. This girl is like the most unprofessional person I've ever met. She takes absolutely no pride in her job. And listen, I get it. You're working at Dunkin', okay? I get it. That might not be your dream job, but do you have to act like that? Do you really have to act like that? She will, if I'm ordering through the, I don't know what it's called, the speaker, she doesn't even say welcome to Dunkin'. She just goes like, what can I get you? What do you want? What do you have? And I'll be like, oh, I want like a Dunkin' latte or whatever. You could pull up. Okay. And then I pull up. She does not acknowledge me. She just takes my money. She says like the total, doesn't acknowledge me. I give her the money. And then I say, you know, like, have a nice day. And these people expect tips, right? Like we all know that tip culture has gotten far, far out of hand, but drive-through coffee workers want tips. Like I've never been to a Starbucks where they don't hand you the little thing. Oh, it's just going to ask you a little question and then you can go ahead and insert your card. First of all, I hate that more than anything in the entire world. I'm more likely to tip you if you don't ask me for a tip. Seriously. So with this person, like I was tipping on a regular basis because I would usually pay in cash. And then there's like, I don't know, 50 cents left over or something. And I'll give it to them, whatever. I have not tipped that girl in probably the last 8 situations or interactions that I've been there with her because she's just like, it just really gets to me. I know it's stupid, but a lot of you guys have my back, so I know that you agree with me. But I just think it's like, I don't know, the first interaction of my day is met with indifference and rudeness. And you work for a company, like a coffee company that is known for like, you know, starting your day off right. And I just find it really, I find like I think it's a Gen Z. It's a Gen Z thing. I think it really is. I mean, I know that I would have gotten like chewed out by my manager if I didn't say like, do you have your bonus card today? At Giant. Or if I didn't say, hi, how are you today? What can I, you know, paper or plastic? Seriously. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that point, but that really, really bothered me and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. And listen, I would go to Starbucks, but there's no drive-through at the one near me. And if you have a kid, you know, you can't go anywhere that doesn't have a drive-through because you're not going to get your kid out of the car, walk into the place, order the coffee, and then try to juggle the coffee and the baby back into the car. It's not worth it. So you have to go to a drive-through. All right. Anyway, I asked you guys this week to give me some questions that I could give you some advice for. So we're going to start with that. And then we're going to move on to some pop culture things and then some Reddit stories. So actually, it was interesting. There was a theme this week where a lot of you guys are moving, and a lot of you guys are moving in with someone, a special someone, wink, wink. But I have done this twice now in my life. I moved in with an ex-boyfriend. That did not last long. And then I moved in, obviously, with my husband when we were newly engaged into our first home and now into our second home. And I have a lot of thoughts about it. But basically, somebody asked me, I'm moving in with my boyfriend next month. Any advice for living with a partner? It's the first time living with a significant other for both of us. It's a 1-bedroom condo. And it'll be the two of us and my fairly large dog. So it'll be pretty tight quarters. Any advice from cohabiting to space-saving hacks would be greatly appreciated. And then another person says, I'm moving in with my boyfriend in 3 weeks. Literally any advice is welcomed. So let me just say this. Putting expectations on your partner without them having any idea of what you expect is going to end in disaster. When my husband and I first moved in with each other, like, yeah, it's so nice. It's the honeymoon phase. Like, you get to live with each other. You get to go to bed with each other, wake up with each other, talk about how you're going to decorate the house. And, you know, you have your dog and it's so exciting and blah, 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 blah. But then slowly things are going to start to annoy you. Little quirks that you didn't know they had. For example, my husband and probably every other man in America has some sort of allergy to closing cabinet doors. And I'm dead serious about that. He's not even bad about like putting the toilet seat down. In fact, I'll give him props for that. He puts the toilet seat down pretty much every time. But cabinets? No, God no. Never. He's never seen a cabinet door he didn't want to close or he didn't want to leave open. Yeah. So I will just say this in regards to managing expectations. I think that men are just raised through society to not know how to do basic things because their moms did it for them. And you could have the best guy in the entire world, aka my husband, right? But he doesn't know how to make basic meals, okay? He tries, he learns, he's been learning. I'll give him props for that as well. But, you know, he needed help learning how to make pancakes in the morning when he wanted to surprise me, or like boiling pasta. Like, it was pretty bad. And he knew how to make his laundry and like all of that stuff, but things that you would think would be common sense, they just don't know. But my advice is do not become the mom right away. Like, and I'm not never become the mom, obviously, but don't even give them a chance to treat you like the mom. So, for example, I didn't do my husband's laundry for up until recently. I do his laundry now because he lets me go shopping a little bit more. But also he's very busy. He provides for us. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so our lifestyle looks a little bit different, right? But in a dual income household where both of you have the same exact responsibilities, you should be doing the same amount of work for the house. It's not going to happen that way. And I'll tell you why. Women will carry the mental load of every single task that you have before you. It's just going to happen. You're going to think about what foods are we running out of in the house that we need to restock. And your boyfriend is going to forget to tell you when he drinks the last of the milk. And then you're going to say, oh, well, why didn't you let me know that? Well, I didn't know I had to. He's going to eat your food. It's just going to happen. You're going to buy food and you're going to be looking forward to it all week. That one sleeve of Oreos. And then you go to look for it and it's gone. Why'd you eat my Oreos? Well, I didn't know we weren't sharing. And he's going to leave things around the house and you're going to consistently say, can you please pick these things up and put them away in the proper place? And he's going to say, yeah, of course, every single time. And then consistently do it over and over again because his mommy had to do it for him. And she never told him that he didn't have to do it. I'm not saying that this is the situation in my marriage, but this is just a thing. So I think you need to manage your expectations when moving in with a man, because they will shock you and they will, on some level, probably disappoint you. And if you don't allow yourself to get over, I don't know what the word is, not overexcited, but don't allow yourself to get roped into this and feel more upset about things than you should. Because at the end of the day, my personal key to a good relationship is to argue with intention. So I think that you need to make it very clear from the very beginning that you move in with each other. Hey, I think we need to come up with a strategy to communicate with each other when we're feeling some type of way that we can both be able to receive. And it needs to come from an adult place. Otherwise, we're just going to be bickering with each other and nobody's going to hear us. So what you need to do is say, if I bring something up to you, it's so that we can come up with a solution to that problem. It's not because I'm nagging you. It's not because I want to have an argument with you. It's not because I want to fight about something stupid. We need to address the problem, come up with a solution, and move past it. And that's what you need to make very, very clear. And as for space saving hacks, I have no idea. Literally, I moved into my house, my small town home, before this house, and there was no space in there whatsoever. And I just called myself a maximalist and basically leaned into the mess. I really did. I don't know. There was nowhere for me to put anything, but I will recommend getting one of those racks that you can put above the toilet that kind of screws into the wall. I think those look fine. And I think you can, put your toiletries and stuff up there without it looking too bad. But I don't really know what to tell you as far as space saving things, because I'm not good at that. But anyway, that is my advice for moving in with your boyfriend. Good luck. Trust me, it's going to be wonderful. I mean, there's really nothing like waking up to the person that you love every single day and being able to plan things together and cook together and having a home base to call your own and getting to sit on the couch and watch TV and not having a deadline where one of you has to run and the other one has to stay there. It is really wonderful. But at the same time, it can be very frustrating. And that is why I also believe that couples should live together for minimum a year before they get married. I think you should be engaged before you move in with your partner, because there's nothing really keeping you from staying in that relationship if you don't have a proper commitment, right? So and this is just my opinion. You don't have to do this, but I think that it's important to have the commitment of the promise of marriage and the foundation of okay, we're going into this apartment together or this house or whatever. We're not going to leave each other, because it's going to get tough. And they say the first year of marriage is always the hardest, because traditionally the man and the woman would whoever, the couple, would move in with each other and right after getting married, never having lived with each other before that. So it's really hard because you're adjusting to a new person's schedule, their quirks, the things you don't like about them, the things that you do like about them. And it's just a lot. Also, give your man the little wins when it comes to decorating. And I find that it's a lot easier to just do whatever you want and then just don't tell them, because 9 times out of 10, they won't notice. Seriously. They just won't notice. Maybe even 10 times out of 10. You put that picture wherever you want. He's not going to find out. Okay, guys, let's get into some stuff that's been going on lately this week and last week. Something on the internet that is really annoying me is that there's actual discourse around bathing your baby/child every day. Yeah, I do actually mean that. There are moms getting online saying that it's propaganda to bathe your child every day. And specifically, this one video that I'm referencing was on TikTok, this mom, and I just happened upon it on my For You page, and then went down the rabbit hole, of course. But this woman, she's like, oh yeah, I find that it's propaganda when people say you need to bathe your child every day. Each of my children gets 1 bath a week. And you should have seen the comments. There were daycare workers, teachers being like, yeah, we can tell. And this is abuse. Honestly, it is kind of borderline abuse, because cleanliness is basic caretaking of a child. And if you're not doing that, that walks a really fine line of abuse, don't you say? Now, listen, I know that like there's different cultural aspects, but I'm speaking from my personal experience. My baby poops his pants every day, multiple times, and that shit gets all up in there, okay? And I'm wiping it with a wipe and then putting some ointment on and sticking the diaper back on until the end of the night when he gets a bath. That is not a good way to live. I don't care how old you are, but you're getting poop in your pants every single day. You're getting it wiped, or you're getting it cleaned, like cleaned in the bath every day. Kids like to play. They like to go outside. They like to get dirty. You need to wash the dirt off, no? I don't know. Maybe you don't even have to wash their hair, right? Like my son, for example, it's also part of his routine. So like his nighttime routine, my husband puts him to bed. And if we were to ever miss a bath time, he doesn't sleep. There have been times when we've actually tried to just kind of like put him down without taking a bath, and he wakes up like 3 hours earlier. But regardless of that, it's just, kids are dirty. Kids are dirty. You need to clean them. So anyway, I looked at this woman's bio, right? And it says she's a mom of 7. So I commented and I was like, just say you had too many kids that you don't have enough time to take care of them. And this is exactly what I was saying last week or 2 weeks ago on the last episode, where like having too many children is actually really, really detrimental to the health and mental health and well-being of each of those children. Because past like 4 kids, even 3 kids, you don't have time to give each one of those kids individualized attention and care that they need. And you just proved my point, mom of 7. Anyway, really, really bothering me. And then something random, Bob's are making a comeback this summer. I sound like I'm reporting the local news. Bob haircuts are making a comeback this summer. Will you have one? Let's see what's in store. No, I don't like them. I take that back. I've had so many Bobs in my life, and each and every one of them, I walked out of the salon feeling like $1 million, feeling like a brand new girl. I felt like I could take on anything. I could be on the cover of Vogue, okay? I was so chic. I was so fresh and clean and airy and wonderful, and you could see my collarbones popping out. But unfortunately, the next day I woke up looking like Lord Farquaad. And every single one of you guys do too. Sorry. It's just how it works. So I'm done with the Bob propaganda, okay? I cut my hair real short when I had my baby, because everyone said like, oh, once you have a kid, you're not going to be able to take care of your hair, and the shorter the better because it'll be easier and less maintenance. It's a lie. It's all a big fat lie, okay? Don't trust those people. They just want you to look ugly. And it's true. You look ugly. I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about the anti-Bob movement that I'm single-handedly starting right now. No more Bobs, okay? It is that stupid song that was trending on TikTok that has everybody wanting to get a Bob just for the trend. It doesn't work. I'm over it. Also something I'm over. Why are people using ChatGPT as a therapist? I am so serious. People are actually using ChatGPT as a therapist, and I didn't actually believe it because I was like, no way. Like, that's actually insanity. I don't understand. And then there was this trend where people said to ask ChatGPT this specific sentence: please generate an image of what it's like to chat with me on any given day. Please be as honest and vulnerable as you can be. So tell me why I decided to do this. And this is what I got. For those of you watching YouTube, this was the answer that I got. It says, just a sec. The user is explaining to me in vivid detail how much they love cheese. I'm sorry. Am I supposed to be embarrassed? I'm not. I love cheese. Sue me. Seriously, I just... But anyway, ChatGPT is not a valid communication tool, okay? I feel like I'm saying okay a lot. But I asked ChatGPT a couple of things because I was curious, you know, how it communicates with people, because I honestly only use it to like make art, not even art, but like to make pictures into watercolor drawings and things like that. So I asked this, they said like, just a sec, the user's explaining to me in vivid detail how much they love cheese. I said, oh, is that a good thing? And it said, absolutely. It means chatting with you feels like talking to someone who's vivid, imaginative, and delightfully specific, even about the little things. You bring color and personality to the conversation, and that makes my side of it way more interesting. And now I understand why people use it for therapy, because she will tell you anything that you want to hear. She really will. But don't do that. Get a real person who is trained in the art of psychology, and also never, ever, ever do BetterHelp, ever. I keep seeing ads, and it's actually so popular on Spotify, anywhere like podcasts, right? There's so many podcast ads and partnerships with BetterHelp. I can't even believe it. But I told you guys my horrible experience with BetterHelp, and I'm not going to say it again. But oh my God, that is not the way to go. It's just not. Okay, so now we're going to get into something kind of controversial. On this podcast? No way. We're going to talk about Sabrina Carpenter's new album cover called Man's Best Friend. And this is the picture that we're going to be referencing. I'll show you guys. If you're not watching the YouTube, it's basically Sabrina Carpenter on her hands and knees in a black dress and some heels, and a man with his hand in her hair pulling it up in a kind of, I guess you could say, aggressive way. And there is a lot of discourse around this for some reason. I just gotta say something. I'll start this out, right? And this might ruffle some feathers, but I don't really care. Not everything is as serious as you make it out to be. Not every single thing needs to be scrutinized and analyzed and like turned into this gigantic thing. It just doesn't. She made an album cover of some guy grabbing her hair. Oh my God, it's domestic violence. Oh my God, she's setting feminism back. Oh my God, this is the Sydney Sweeney soap thing. Okay, everybody's like, oh, Sydney Sweeney, she's setting feminism back by selling her bathwater in soap and blah blah blah. Okay, first of all, that in itself, setting feminism back, is like one of the dumbest statements I've ever heard. Second of all, it's Sydney Sweeney, aka an incredibly sexualized, hypersexualized character in anything she plays. Any single role that Sydney Sweeney is in is a very sexual character. She's like been in nude scenes. She's been in sex scenes. Like, why are we surprised that she's using her sexuality to sell soap to men? I just don't get that. Like, why is everybody all upset about that? Let the girl do what she wants. It's selling soap, and your man's balls actually smell nice for once. God. So basically, I found this thread on TikTok of this girl. She was just going off on the Sabrina Carpenter cover, and this comment thread really surprised me, but we'll just read through it, right? So someone says Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, Miley Cyrus, they are all Disney/Nickelodeon girls, and they never made a cover like this to promote feminism. Instead, they released songs like Can't Be Tamed, Cool for the Summer, Can't Keep My Hands to Myself, Dangerous Woman. I don't think that Sabrina Carpenter is trying to promote feminism here. I also don't think that she's setting back feminism. She just put an album cover of some guy holding her hair. Sabrina Carpenter, another very, very sexualized character. She just is. She's always in 6-inch heels, in teeny tiny little bodices. She does sex positions on stage, for God's sakes. Why is this all of a sudden some crazy leap that she's going to make an album cover like this, and all of a sudden, oh my God, she's being so terrible to domestic violence victims. What? So then someone says, aside from album covers, Miley's Bangers era was insanely controversial at the time, like way more than Sabrina. Also, Ariana Grande's songs are very sexual, and a lot of them are about serving men. But her visuals aren't as sexual as Sabrina's. And to that, I'm like, oh yeah, do we not remember everything that Miley Cyrus went through in the Bangers era? I hated Miley Cyrus for the longest time because I did find her just to be really crude, and that just wasn't my vibe at the time. I also thought the music was terrible, and I just didn't like it. And she got so much backlash over that. So much backlash. And it's just, and Ariana Grande, like she literally has a song Side to Side. Dangerous Woman. Break up with your boyfriend because I'm bored. Okay. Just because she doesn't have a picture of herself on her hands and knees on the album cover, all of a sudden she can get away with it, right? I don't know, guys. I just think that it is way, way, way too much right now. So I'll sum it up with this last comment here. Let's see. Miley was setting back. So older women were judging Miley for not being the good girl anymore. But that doesn't mean that Miley was feeding into misogyny. Even if they say that Miley was setting back feminism, it doesn't mean it was true. But people were genuinely saying her being revealing, provocative, and hypersexual was setting back feminism. It wasn't just older women. It was so controversial at the time. All genders, from kids to old people, were all against her. And another comment that somebody made was that, well, it's not, I saw it as like a kinky cover, okay? Like, okay, maybe she likes getting her hair pulled, or she likes being submissive. And we know that Sabrina Carpenter is very much like a cutesy, haha kind of girl, but she's always in control. And in all of her music videos, she's killing men, okay? And so then someone was like, oh, well, no, if it was supposed to be a kink, then she would be in lingerie on a bed. But it's like, oh, honey, like, that's very, very cute of you to think that's how all kinks are, just like in lingerie, in the bed, adorable. But anyway, I think that doing that would actually make people even more mad and glorify sexual assault. And having a bed in lingerie is very much on brand for Sabrina and her team, but they probably thought that it was too on the nose and too sexual. But a lot of people are also agreeing that in today's climate, it's just probably not the right time for her to make this album cover. I think it's so dumb. I think the whole thing is just so dumb. And you can come at me for saying that, but maybe I'm using my white privilege to say that this is an unnecessary problem right now to have. Like, we have to just turn everything into a problem. I know that's bad. I know that's bad to say that, but it's so true. Like, it's controversial not to be controversial. And I'm getting really, really over it. I am. Like, just, if you don't like it, okay, that's great. But it doesn't mean that anybody that does like it hates all women now and isn't a true feminist. Jesus Christ. Okay. this is our last segment of the night, of the day, of the podcast, of the episode. I wanted to make this episode about advice, so I have a couple of stories from Reddit that I thought would be fun to talk about and give advice about. So the first one is coming from the thread True Off My Chest, posted an hour ago. I, 25 male, want my girlfriend, 21 male. I think they meant 21 female, sorry. I'm going to start over. I, 25 male, want my girlfriend, 21 female, to acknowledge and thank me for my new job. My 25 male and girlfriend, 22 female, okay, now this person is very confusing, have been together 1 year. She still has 2 years of university left before graduating as a lawyer, and her dream job is, or was, working as a high government position to help the people of my country. Recently, my best friend became a congressman and was in a lookout for a new assistant, and the pay is good, even more than I make, and no university degree necessary, and also a way in to become and work her ways up in the government. So I asked for a favor and got her in. I received no thank you or even appreciation from her part. She's telling everyone in her family and close friends, literally posted something on Instagram about it, that she got her dream job. Yesterday, we were in a dinner with her grandparents and uncles, and she wouldn't stop talking about how lucky she was, and everyone's saying that they're proud of her and she deserves it. Am I wrong to feel this way? I mean, not even a thank you or I couldn't have done it without you text. Nothing. I'm so proud of her, and seeing her happy every day is good, but sometimes when she has an outburst of anger, I want to say it. What do I do? If I talk to her, she'll just say, "Don't be that guy." Well, she clearly has the expertise or the training or the knowledge or the skills or all of the above to get the actual job. So what it sounds like from this story is that you're asking for praise because you got her in for an interview, but her qualifications got her the job. So while I understand that it's frustrating that she's not singing your praises, saying, "Oh my gosh, well, John got me in to see this person and then I got the job," which, yeah, maybe she could say, she could be a little bit more appreciative about, but she's the one that's qualified enough to get the job on her own. Well, not on her own, but with your help. So I don't think that you should hold this over her, and I don't think that it's fair of you to feel frustrated at her because you got her the interview. You know, like, you didn't get her the job. She got it with her qualifications. So maybe it would be a good idea to have a conversation and say, "Listen, it hurt my feelings a little bit that you didn't acknowledge that I put my name on the line for you. And I gave my friend a recommendation, which led to an opportunity that you might not have had otherwise if I hadn't helped you. And I just wish that you would have acknowledged that I helped you a little bit." And then I'm sure she would understand and you guys can move on from there. But just like holding it in and being petty like this, just to wait until you blow up in an argument just to be able to say, "Oh yeah, well, you didn't even do anything to get that job. I got it for you. You owe it to me." That's so childish. Like, can we please grow up a little bit? This is what I'm saying. When you're in a relationship, you need to argue with intention. So you need to tell your girlfriend that you're upset, explain why, come to a conclusion, and then move past it. Because you didn't get her this job. Her qualifications got her this job. You merely opened up a door for her, and she was able to walk through it on her own. That's all I gotta say about that. And the top comment on this one was, "Do you think she got the job because of your mentioning her or because she has the skills and did well at interview, etc.? This reads like you think it was all you're doing, whereas she feels really proud to have actually got it." And I agree with that. Okay, next. Let's see, we'll do one more. Okay, this is coming from r/unethical life pro tips. Okay, this is titled, "Elderly father has found love, entire family worried. My 72-year-old father lost his partner of 30 years in 2024. He has found love with a new lady. 18 years his junior. He has some means, and she already, to date, convinced him to give her $100,000 for her business. Apparently, she's a beauty therapist, and something approaching $10,000 a month as some kind of stipend. He's got some means, but not infinite money, and getting to know her, she's nowhere near as into him as she says she is, in our opinion. The opinion of his 4 kids and extended family is that she's in it for one reason only, but he's lost his long-term partner and all of a sudden has a much younger person interested. He's smitten. How could we catch her out without seriously upsetting Dad? And then there is an edit. Thank you for some of the comments. There are so many that were helpful, and it's good to know that it's not too uncommon, and if we get some good advice, we might be able to protect him. So the top comment in this one is pretend to be her, call his bank and act super gold digging so they start looking at elder abuse. Another person said, we had an elderly neighbor in a similar situation. He owned property and had some cash. I swear there's a network of gold diggers out there that search these guys out. He had 3 women get close to him after he turned 70. They were all 50 or under and pushed hard for marriage or cash. He was a lonely guy who said he enjoyed their attention, even though on some level he knew he would be used. Sad, but they are out there on the prowl. That's kind of crazy. I have heard of people like stalking obituaries, as horrible it is as it is, and it's really sad. It's really sad, but people will prey on the elderly. There's just something that happens, I guess, when you get to be old. You just become very gullible and easily manipulated. For example, my grandmother, she, bless her heart, she's 85 now, but at the time of the incident that I'm going to tell you, she was probably 80, but old, okay, old. She's got dementia, like she's not with it properly. So she gets a phone call one day, and I was living with her at this time. She gets a phone call one day from one of my uncles from Greece, and it's like, uncle is a loose term in Greece. Like, it's really her like nephew's brother or cousin or something, right? A relative that she personally knows. And he says, oh, I need help. I hit a pregnant woman and I'm in jail and I need money for lawyer fees. And she says, oh my gosh, how can I get you this money? And he says, well, don't call anyone else and tell them I'm too embarrassed about it. Send me $2,000 cash in the mail or something like that. And she says, okay, I will. And they kept calling her, asking why she hadn't sent the cash yet. And she didn't have a car, so she had to, everywhere that she had to go, I would drive her. So she had to wait until I would take her grocery shopping or something, where I would usually kind of like let her go. And one day I took her grocery shopping and she said, okay, I need to stop at the post office. I said, no problem, it's right next to it. So she goes in the post office with the box and I'm like, what the heck is this? And she comes back out and she looks upset, but she doesn't say anything to me. So then she says, I need to go to another post office because they won't accept my package or something. I said, okay. So I take her to the other post office. The same thing happens. I get back in the car, we go home. She's upset, but I don't really think anything of it. She doesn't elaborate. And then I get a phone call from the bank and they're calling her, I guess they called her house phone, and I picked up the phone and they said, hi, we just want to let you know that your grandmother, insert name here, has been trying to send $2,000 cash in the mail, and we think that she's a victim of fraud. And I said, what the heck? So then I went over to her and I said, you got to tell me what's going on. So she told me, and she admitted the whole thing, that she had gotten bamboozled by these people, but she didn't realize that it was a fraud case. She thought that she was actually doing what she was supposed to do. So she gave me the phone number of these people, and I called them, and they gave me the phone number of a legit attorney. So it was this elaborate scheme. Like, they had an actual legit attorney's name, who I then later emailed and was like, hey, just so you know, these people are using your name to try to commit fraud and get money from old people. But all in all, she never lost any money and she was very embarrassed, but that's what happens. People prey on old people. And unfortunately, they're very gullible and you just need to be there and look out for them. Otherwise, it's just going to keep happening. So I guess that's where we're going to end off, guys. I really appreciate you listening to my episode, and I hope that you tune into the YouTube and watch the video as well. Stay tuned for next week's Pouty Monday question and my pouty points, and I can't wait to talk to you again. Thank you guys so much for all of your support, and it means the world to me that you keep coming back. And please, please, please respond to every question that I put, because it helps me have more content and more things to talk to you guys about. But anyway, let me know your thoughts as well about the Sabrina Carpenter thing, because I'm very curious to see if I'm not making it as much of a big deal as it should be, or if everybody else is wrong and I'm right, which I think we know the answer. All right, I love you guys so much, and no matter what, don't stop complaining.